Yesterday, the Detroit Lions made a splash signing, getting cornerback DJ Reed for an absolute steal of a deal. And we're going to talk about why this is a much bigger signing than what was initially thought. We're going to talk about it, so stay tuned.
What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? It's grit. It's what we started with last year, guys. It doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
Can definitely compete with the big dogs.
10-5, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions friends, fans, and family members. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike, and as always, we're diving on in. So, folks, as we all know, yesterday the Lions made a splash signing by signing cornerback DJ Reed to a 3-year deal. Now, when the news initially broke, I said that this was an absolute great deal. I liked the deal. I thought it was a great signing for Brad Holmes. I thought it was a great signing for the Lions. But now that I've had a little bit of time to, kind of look into it, do a little bit more research, I now absolutely love the signing. I think that Brad Holmes not only stole Reed for virtually next to nothing in comparison to what other top cornerbacks got, but I think it was a genius move on Brad Holmes' part. And there's a couple of reasons as to why I think that. First and foremost, we have to take a look at DJ Reed's career, and we have to take a look at DJ Reed as a player. Let's first and foremost take a look at him as a player. What are some things we need to know about DJ Reed? The first thing I want to bring out here is that this guy has been a very solid, very good cover corner in his time in the NFL. If you go to PFF, this guy has been graded 70 plus or higher in terms of his coverage grade 5 out of the 7 years that he's been in the NFL. So that ought to tell you something. As a cover corner, this guy gets the job done. That's number one. Number two, one of the things we know about our defense is that our cornerbacks have got to be willing to tackle. Well, if there's one thing you ought to know about DJ Reed, he is a very willing, very compliant He is a very willing, very compliant person in terms of the idealism that cornerbacks not only have to tackle, but they have to be good at it. This guy's not just a willing tackler, he's actually pretty damn good at it for a cornerback. Over the course of his career, he's only missed tackles at 11%. For a cornerback, that's pretty damn good. That's number two. Number three, there's another thing about this cornerback that I like as well, and I know a lot of Lions fans are going to like about this cornerback. This guy is a smart corner. Now, what do I mean by that? He's a smart corner because he doesn't get called for penalties a whole hell of a lot. If you take a look over the course of his career, he gets called for penalties on average less than 5 times a year. The guy's been in the NFL for about 7 years. He's only been called for penalties 31 times. I know simple basic math. 7 goes into 35 5 times. Well, if he's only been called 31 times, that's less than 5. That's pretty damn good. So he's a good cover corner. He's a willing and pretty damn good tackler. And on top of that, he doesn't get called for penalties all that damn often. So far, I like what I hear. But if you go even further, this guy, over the course of his career, to go even further with the coverage nonsense that I was talking about, has posted a sub-90 passer rating against opposing quarterbacks 4 out of the 7 years that he's been in the league. So not only is this guy a solid cover corner in terms of what PFF is saying, but if you just take a look at the basic statistics, 4 out of the 7 years he's held quarterbacks, the totality of them that he's faced over the course of a season, 4 out of 7 times of the, totality of his career that he's played. So this guy, as far as a cover corner, is a dog. This guy who is a corner is also a freaking monster in wanting to go and lay the wood on people. Now, what are DJ Reed's career stats? If you take a look at PFF, this is what you're going to find. DJ Reed has allowed 59.6 completion percentage over the course of his career. He's allowed just a tick under 2,500 passing yards, 10.9 an average a throw, 12 touchdowns to 6 interceptions for an 83 passer rating. For a guy that's been in the NFL for 7 years, that's pretty damn good. And it reflects what I've been saying. In order to have those numbers over only a period of 7 years, you have to be damn solid in coverage. You have to be able to stop quarterbacks from getting the looks that they're wanting in order to get good passing lanes. And it also means that you have to be able to play smart and not give up a whole hell of a lot of penalties to allow quarterbacks to pick on you that way. But there's something else about DJ Reed that I want to talk about real quickly. The other thing about DJ Reed is that, yes, I know some people are going to point out the fact he is a small cornerback. He's only 5'9". But if you've watched any of his highlights, the guy plays substantially bigger than his 5'9", 188-pound frame would lead you to believe. And he often goes toe-to-toe with a lot bigger wide receivers and holds his own rather well. How do I know this? Well, one, the stats tell me that. But also, two, go back to his combine. If you take a look at his combine, as a 5'9", 188-pound corner, the guy benched 225 pounds 11 times. I know guys that are over 225 pounds who can only bench it a couple of times. This guy benched more than what he weighed 11 times. He benched more than his own body weight plus 10 times. That tells me the guy is strong. Second, even though the guy's only 5'9", the guy has over a 3-foot vertical. I think his vertical at freaking his combine was 36.5 inches. That's over 3 feet. That's ridiculous. And then on top of that, his broad foot jump was over 10 feet. The guy's an absolute physical specimen. So just from that aspect alone, I love the signing. We're getting a guy that knows how to play the cornerback position exceedingly well. We are getting a guy who has been paired opposite of one of the best cornerbacks in freaking Sauce Gardner and was able to hold his own. And on top of that, the guy's just a damn beast. Not just in a physical sense, but in the mentality sense of how he plays the position and the game. But there's another reason why I love this signing. Let's take a comparison, if you will, to the guy he's replacing, which is obviously Carlton Davis. Now, what about Carlton Davis here? I'm not going to try and spend too much time since obviously Carlton Davis is not coming back, but since he is going to be replacing him, I figured it was prudent to do a comparison really quickly. First and foremost, what do we know about Carlton Davis? One, we know Carlton Davis is 6'1". Number two, we know Carlton Davis plays around 205, 206 pounds. Okay, so Carlton Davis is 4 inches taller than him, and he's almost 20 pounds heavier than Reed is. But would you like to know what Carlton Davis did at his combine? Because, this is going to get you interested. They were at the exact same combine. They were drafted the exact same year in 2018. Carlton Davis at his combine only had a 34-inch vert. That's 2.5 inches less than freaking DJ Reed. A guy who is literally 4 inches shorter than him, literally outjumped him by 2.5 inches. Number two, being 6'1", having longer legs, you would think he'd be able to get a much better broad jump. But would you like to know that in terms of the broad jump, Carlton Davis posted the exact same number as DJ Reed, 124 inches. Now, he did post a slightly better bench. He had 16 bench reps. But think about that, folks. Carlton Davis, who's bigger, who's heavier, couldn't outjump him in either terms of the vert or the broad, and he barely was able to outdo him in terms of the bench. Reed either posted better or same numbers in terms of vert, broad, and bench in 2 out of the 3 categories. That's pretty interesting. That's very, very crucial information if you're wanting to get a comparison just from the physicality standpoint of how Davis is versus how Reed is. Then, let's take a look at Carlton Davis's career statistics. Again, these guys have been in the league the exact same amount of time. What's Carlton Davis's statistics? As I've said in the past, I'll put them up here again. Carlton Davis has posted a completion percentage rate against quarterbacks of just a smidge over 58%. He's given up just a smidge over 4,200 yards. He's allowing 13.1 an average a throw. He's given up 29 touchdowns to 11 interceptions with a 91.3 passer rating. There are 3 things from those statistics you need to pay close attention to. Number 1, for the exact same amount of time, Carlton Davis has allowed almost 2,000 more passing yards than DJ Reed has. He's allowed almost 20 more passing touchdowns than DJ Reed has. And he's allowed an 8.3 point higher passer rating than DJ Reed has. Now, why is that interesting? The reason it's interesting is because Carlton Davis was drafted in the 2nd round. DJ Reed was drafted in the 5th. Oh, and just to put this ever more succinctly, Carlton Davis got paid a 3-year, $60 million contract by the Patriots. We got freaking DJ Reed for a 3-year, $48 million contract? So we got a better cornerback, a more physical cornerback, for $12 million less overall. And just to think about this furthermore, I decided to do a stat-by-stat comparison of how Davis played last year versus how Reed played last year. Take a look at how DJ Reed did in 2024 with the Jets. A team, mind you, that was worse on defense than we were and worse on offense than we were. DJ Reed gave up 58.3% completion rate, 431 yards, 12.3 an average a throw, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, with a 91.7 passer rating. That's not bad, especially considering how bad the Jets were last year. How did Carlton Davis do? Carlton Davis gave up a higher pass completion percentage of 59.7. He gave up more passing yards of 583, a higher pass average per throw of 13.6, and more passing touchdowns with 3. Now, granted, he did have 2 interceptions, and he also had a slightly lower passer rating of 87.9. But think about it, folks. I literally just gave you all the golden ticket to understanding why those stats are significant. DJ Reed played on a lesser defense in terms of that it was efficient, and he played on an offense that meant that, it wasn't as good, so the defense had to go out there and play more often. Carlton Davis played on an offense that was number 1 and on a defense that was in the top 10 in points giving up, and yet DJ Reed still posted better numbers 4 out of the 6 statistical categories that I just gave. So wait a minute here. Not only last year did DJ Reed play better than Carlton Davis, especially when you take into consideration the team he was playing for, not only has DJ Reed been a better player and cornerback over the course of his career, but also DJ Reed is more of a physical specimen that matches with what this defense is looking for. Extremely physical, tough, gritty, has an extreme physical profile about him that allows him to play bigger than what he is. And at the same time, DJ Reed has been able to play quite a bit in the NFL. Injuries have not been a concern for him a whole lot. So think about it. We lose Carlton Davis to go to the freaking New England Patriots, a team that is literally at the bottom of the NFL right now, a team that gave Carlton Davis a 3-year, $60 million contract, And we just got a vast upgrade for $12 million less. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but that's pure freaking genius right there. That is absolutely just amazing. Brad Holmes recognized that he wasn't going to get Carlton Davis back, so he went out and he got a better corner for less money. I mean, dude, if you want to say anything else about Brad Holmes, about, not addressing the edge rusher, I'm sure we're going to have a conversation about that here before too long when he gets one. But, I mean, for crying out loud, you go out and you get a better cornerback and you pay $12 million less? Dude, I'm all for that every single day of the week, twice on Sunday. But anyway, folks, I just wanted to put this episode out there really quickly. I figured it was important, especially seeing as how DJ Reed is now a part of the team, and I figured that it was a good idea so that way people got to know more about him, and especially in comparison to the guy we just had in Carlton Davis. And, oh, by the way, just one last little tidbit here. We only had Carlton Davis for 1 year. We're about to have DJ Reed for the next 3. So just think about that. But anyway, I'm going to end this episode, so having said that, I'm going to say thank you all for watching yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also encourage y'all to do one of these 3 things. Like, comment, and subscribe. If by chance you guys have done that in the past, subscribe that is, I want to highly encourage y'all, if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that bell notification icon so you guys never miss any more content that I push out. Also want to encourage y'all, please, to share this content with your Lions friends and family members. Share it here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere and everywhere you possibly can, so that way we can help the channel continue to grow and spread. And with that, I hope you all got something out of this content. I hope you all enjoyed the content. Whether it's the first time you're watching me, you guys have been watching me forever and a day, that's what I truly hope happens. Also hope you guys got something in your life that makes you happy, makes you smile. God bless, my friends. And until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.